Listen to the vibes.
The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes Broadcast Network. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And I'm pleased to have Miss Roxy Astor here with me. And she's going to tolerate me today. I told her that I got sick this last week and been fighting it and probably sound congested and terrible. Well, we're going to do it. We're going to get through this just fine. But Roxy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first I have to say this: I'll tolerate you if you tolerate me.
You got it.
So we're on a good note. Okay, where do we start? You lead the way. Back in G.L.O.W. I mean, I think everybody's heard probably the same story. So let me see if I can come up with something different for you. It was a long time ago, and keep in mind, this is like 37 years ago. And I have a big birthday coming up, but I'm going to say it on air for the first time so I can get used to it. I'm going to be turning 60 years old, young. In October. You believe it's 60. Okay, I said it on the air. It's over. I feel better. So I look back and we talk about G.L.O.W. and I always say the fact that we're still talking about G.L.O.W. is amazing. We're still talking about it. And but I know you and I had talked about wrestling, and I wasn't a wrestling fan. I grew up in a small town, didn't even really know what wrestling was. I knew I was a hairdresser and put myself through hairdressing school, and then got a little bored with that, even though I still do it to this day. Then put myself through the Seattle Art Institute. And so I wanted to be a hairdresser / clothing designer / wrestler. I'm kind of still trying to find my way. I'm young and, okay, I don't want to do that at this moment. So I moved to LA, and I tell people this all the time and it's a true story. And whether it makes sense or not, it makes sense to me. Is the reason why I moved from Auburn, Washington, is I saw Flashdance and I thought, wow, Jennifer Beals, like this independent, tough woman. I want to go move to LA and live in a loft, and I want to weld. And I'm like, what has that got to do with anything wrestling? I don't know. So a couple stories that I'll tell you is when I first got to LA, I just thought you could walk into any studio and go, here I am. And I was never afraid of doing anything. And I've always been like that. So I remember I walked into this leather store, and this is a story I don't think I told anybody, but I'm going to give it to you. And I thought, I walked in, I thought I need a job. And it was on Sunset, and I think they have Pink Dot. It's a store there now. And that's when leather was really popular back then. And I walked in and I sold a jacket to the guy from the Werewolf in London, one of the main guys.
Oh, really?
Jacket, and I didn't work there. So guess who got the job? Me.
Sweet.
So that's a story I've never shared with anybody. Which I think is kind of a unique story of how I led into just, going, okay, I saw the phone number on TV, because there are things that lead you to doing things. And me, there's no fear of doing stuff like that. So another thing I walked into was a studio. And I said, I went to the Seattle Art Institute and I want to be on set. I want to do this. Do you have a resume? No, this is all I have. And they go, well, we got this little show called Killer Clowns. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then come to find out, I didn't get the job. And it ended up being a cult classic. So I was very close to being, like everybody's very close to being in LA to something, but I felt like I was really close. And that was my first, okay, I think you got to kind of know people to get into the business. So that's what I've learned later on. So I stayed on my sister's couch and I would watch G.L.O.W. every Saturday. And I would watch it for the hair and for the outfits, and not so much for the wrestling or the acting, but I thought it was just very comical and very unique. And then that's when they had the audition. And then honestly, I went back to Sunset where I did the tryout. And then I was driving over to Las Vegas and got hired on after, I think there was about 300 girls, or, all trying out. And then a lot of them didn't quite like it, or it wasn't what they thought, or it wasn't the money. And I just went just knowing, okay, I finally got hired, doing something different. So that was my story to G.L.O.W. But I kind of gave you a pre-story to G.L.O.W, which is something that nobody's really heard before. So,
well, you went from not being so much of a wrestling fan to being a wrestler, and now you've taken it beyond that. You've got a musical and all kinds of other stuff that you do with G.L.O.W. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we there was a documentary, the G.L.O.W documentary. I don't know if you saw that, and they brought Mount Fiji in, and that won awards, and that's kind of when G.L.O.W came back, because I went off to go be a mom, and I raised 3 kids. Oh, but in that time, I was a fashion designer, and I sold to 700 stores of a brand called Tickles and Giggles. And it was in Beverly Hills. So anyways, that kind of led me on to, okay, there's something else out there. I'm missing something. So after a divorce, and then deciding, okay, what can I do? So the documentary came up, and then I kind of thought, you know what? I'm looking at the fans, and I was at the screening for the G.L.O.W documentary, and I saw everybody just like loving the G.L.O.W girls. Like, you can see us on YouTube, and we're on stage, and it was all quiet, and I just started doing my rap. And then all the other girls started doing their rap, and I just felt like there was something there. So that's when I did a Kickstarter for the first Afterglow fan party, and I raised $5,000. I got, I think it was 10 G.L.O.W girls on stage, gave them each $100, and that's where I got Matilda to come out there and sit next to me. And I was very afraid of her. I was a big fan of hers, and she ended up becoming one of my best friends. So that was the start of the Afterglow. That was 2014. Now, I've had a lot of people say, give it up, it's done, it's that. And then you have the G.L.O.W Netflix, that pops up. But I've done a lot of podcasts, a lot of the G.L.O.W girls, Sunny, the California girl, she does a lot of radio, and she's out there. Royal Hawaiian, she's carrying on the G.L.O.W name. So all of us, we're still doing that. But my thing is, I do Afterglow because I don't own the trademark to G.L.O.W. And this is what we're doing after G.L.O.W. So, this is who we are. We're not, like 21 years old, and I'm not going to be running around my wrestling outfit. So, nope, I'm not. And so I like to kind of produce and create. So I think the hair and doing the costumes helped when we did the play. Because when it came down to it, I did help with the costumes, and I did the hair. And I did some of the hair for G.L.O.W back in the day. So I was able to tease the hair and turn a shorter Matilda into a bigger Matilda just by teasing her hair. So we did the play, and it was on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And it was kind of like a dress rehearsal play. It wasn't really like the big grand play. Then all of a sudden we got nominated, and Chris Carver was our director, who did over 40 plays, and he did Psycho the musical. And then all of a sudden we're nominated. I'm nominated for Best Actress. So was Matilda, and Mary Kennedy from Shameless. She would play Jackie Stallone, and Sheena Metal. And so I went to go visit Matilda, and her and I were cracking up about being nominated for Best Actress. We're like, this is a what? Because she was going off script, and I'm keeping her in line, but I guess that made it more real, so we got through the play. Obviously I didn't win for Best Actress. There was about 300 other, people that were in plays. And then we got nominated for Best Ensemble of the Decade. Now, to me, that was really important because that is an award for everybody in the play. So you have 5 original Glow girls. You got Dallas, you got Matilda, you got MTV, you got Sunny, and you got me. And we're on stage, and there are younger versions of us on the stage. And we have a small little wrestling ring. And we had somebody playing like the David McClain, Johnny C type. And so we kind of told the story of what happened when we were told that G.L.O.W was over, because that was a question that everybody would ask. What happened to G.L.O.W? What happened? So we kind of told the story before, during, and of course, after G.L.O.W. And that's how it happened. So we won Best Ensemble of the Decade, beating out Hamilton.
Wow.
I have to say, and that's only with a $10,000 budget, so not too bad. And beating out Mamma Mia, beating out hundreds of plays. So to me, the play was very fan driven, and the way people voted. Also, Christopher Carver won for Best Director of the Decade. And then we end up winning Most Anticipated Play, coming back to Vegas, because that's where we're going to end up. And you quote me on that. That's where we're going to be. We're going to go back to Vegas and finish it up there.
But everything you put your hands on becomes a success in one way or another. It's pretty impressive.
Obsession. You know, my son, who's 33, was asking me, Mom, what exactly do you want to do? And I just kind of sat back and go, oh, wait, I don't know. I think I'm doing it. I think this is what I'm doing. Now, have I made tons of money from it? No. Will I? I could. But it's just one of those things that just I live for it. It's 24/7. You know, I'm friends with Sunny. We talk, you know, on the phone. I still talk to April. We do events and Dallas, and we're still friends. You know, some of the G.L.O.W girls. So, and that's kind of a unique group. You don't have that, you know. I was watching A League of Their Own, the remake, and I always called us, the G.L.O.W girls, A League of Their Own, because we are the girls that come back and kind of, but we never went away. That's the thing about us. We don't go away. We're still here.
Now, what about the bumps in the road along your path? Have you met some challenges you weren't sure you were going to get over?
The pandemic, I'm going to say one. that was really, and I'm sure this is for everybody. Yeah, I have a few good stories. I think the divorce was pretty brutal. Is probably what we call it, War of the Roses. It was brutal, and it was brutal on my kids. Got through that. Became homeless after my divorce, which, yeah, because it was brutal. But and one thing I would tell my kids when we were actually walked out of the house was, it just sticks, it stones, you don't really own it. You know, it's just one of those things, you know, and having to start over in your 40s to start over is pretty tough. So, you know, so to go through that, and I'm not ashamed to say that, especially if people can relate to that, because I went from living in $1 million home to being homeless. And I don't care about the $1 million home. I don't care about the materialistic things. I care more about what I'm doing and connecting with people and things and learning from it. If I can share it with anybody, just know that, hey, you guys, you could start over in your 40s. You could start over and do a play and do all this. So, but you got to have good people around you. And my kids they've been there the whole way. Also, too, my boyfriend is Dan Magnus. He's a 2-time world kickbox champion. He's the only one to come back from open heart surgery and win the championships.
Oh, wow.
After surgery. And he had a heart transplant 1.5 years ago. So that was during the pandemic. So to be an advocate to get him through the levels of how people don't realize, it's not like on TV where you're, you know, okay, you need a new heart, and, you know, they bring the little thing, oh, the heart's in there. It's not like that. It's 30 doctors, and it's levels that you have to go through in interviews, and then you got to be approved, and then every part of your body's got to be healthy. And if it's not, you don't get approved. Oh, and then you got to almost die before you get your heart. So, and now Dan is teaching martial arts at a martial arts place in Westlake, and he's doing great. And so I became his caretaker and learned a lot, signed up at UCLA for that. And to me, that's just one more added thing on my resume.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's, you can't judge any, and you could see me out there, and it's Roxy Astor, but there was something that we did called More Than a Wrestler that I wrote. And it was in a women's empowerment book, and it came out from Penn Can. And that's kind of my story, is that I'm more than a wrestler. And I have so much more to me, because they'll just go, Roxy Astor, that's the wrestler. No, there's more to me. And that's to me with every wrestler too. And to say, I've been homeless, I've been there. I think people can relate to, I've had, the dollar store, I've had $20 and I've had to get through it to feed my kids for the week, but I did it. And you get through it, and then you look back, and that's why I'm going strong, because you know what, it's just like, that's all I've got. I got to just keep looking forward, because I'm not going to look back. I will never be in that position again. And I've learned a lot, and I taught my kids a lot on how not to be in that position. So women and men, hear it from me.
It's very important to not give up, no matter what this world can throw at you. I've been in the public works for 20 some odd years, and I ended up catching a disease in my spine, and it's just, the bones are deteriorating, and it's destroying the discs in my back. And well, I was a supervisor. I had it made. It was just cruising until retirement, and I was going to have a lot of money, and then I had to retire, and now living off of disability. And I didn't want that to be my career choice, if you know what I mean. But for right now, that's all I have.
Right.
And my dreams were to be an artist. That's what I wanted more than anything. And I found that I have some success in doing podcasting and just meeting people. And I get to meet people like you, who give me even more inspiration to know that I can keep going and keep going. I mean, I was trying to take care of 2 boys on my own.
Yeah.
And my first wife took off with the younger guy. And
okay. That happened to me too. not that way, but like that. So I'm late. It's a little sting, but I have to say though, you want to be an artist.
That was my goal. It's a little more difficult nowadays, because I have a lot of nerve damage in my handshake, but I'm not going to give up.
Oh my gosh, no, just this is probably, maybe this interview is meant to be. Matilda, she had nerve damage too. And she kind of thought that you actually have to keep your hands going, because I'm a hairdresser too, and I do extensions, and I get that same thing. And it's like, I'm not going to give it up, because if I give it up, I feel like I lose a part of me. And that kind of sounds like that's a part of you.
I mean, it is.
Behind you next time that you painted or drew or something. That's what you got to do.
I guess I should. My wife keeps them in her office.
No, you got to show it off. Put it up there.
The worst is the arthritis, because it's spread throughout my body now, and my hands hurt so bad, especially in the morning.
Mine too.
Oh God.
You know what? Biofreeze. I'm like biofreezing my hands, my arms. I'm doing my exercises, and I get the same thing. I get the tingling, but I'm not going to stop, and the podcast is a really good way to meet people and get out there too. And I think looks like it kind of picks you up a little bit too, right? Talking to people.
I've met so many wonderful people. I've made so many incredible friends doing this. And on top of it, there's someone out there that's either going through something similar, or more than likely there's somebody out there going through some worse. And I want to encourage them to stay motivated, no
Well,
matter what. Try to stay motivated.
another story, and because this was all during the pandemic, and I think I kind of shut this out for a little bit. It'll be 2 years this September, so I couldn't get over to go see my dad, and he was in the hospital. He ended up dying. Yes, I couldn't even get a flight. I took my daughter's boyfriend to the hospital, only 41 years old, and she was going to marry him, and I probably would have had grandkids. And he ended up dying a week later. Couldn't go, so we lost my dad, we lost my daughter's fiance, and life changed. And then Dan was in the hospital. I'm going back and forth. Well, actually, Dan was in congestive heart failure at the time, so I'm going forth and trying to take care of all that. I don't know how I got through it or what. But is there just something inside you, and you probably know too? It's just like, what are you going to do? You're going to stop? I mean, are we just going to stop?
That's it. Life is going to throw some stuff at you. There's no doubt about it. I was homeless for a short period, but I know how that feels.
Right.
People dying on you. My father and my brother, in just a short amount of time, both ended their lives, and you want to give up, but I guess for you, one of your motivating factors has got to be your kids, because I know that
Yeah.
was for me.
Yeah.
You got to do it for yourself too.
I think they're my most motivating, because they always, like, talking to my son last night, and and he's like, you're so strong, you're this. And I'm like, yeah, but we're still human. There's so much you can take. But sometimes, when my hands hurt or whatever, I'll always say, I'll just crawl in the bed, pull the covers over for a couple hours, and that's it. And then I'll pop back up and let's do it again. But sometimes, life, it gets tough, but then we're reminded, like you got your grandkids, and you're reminded of your wife, and of the good things. So honestly, I have to turn off the news. That's a thing that I cannot comprehend. I don't do well with. I cannot watch the news, because everything's just so crazy, and you're getting two different sides. And I'm like, I can't do it. So I throw myself also into animals, we're doing a fundraiser September 7th, because my daughter, the one who lost her fiance, got into animal rescue, which I think has been really good for her. And so we're doing a fundraiser for Pups Without Borders, and they rescue hundreds of dogs from Tijuana and just everywhere. There's such a good rescue. So I think that place rescued her, and she rescued them. So, there's something about animals that just makes you feel good.
I'll tell you what, animals can be such great therapy. I was very blessed. I need to tell you this story. I had a black cat for 10 years. He ended up developing a kidney disease, and the doctors was like, the only thing we can do is just put him to sleep.
Yeah.
And, I'm a grown man, and I broke down like a little kid, and I bawled my eyes out and didn't even want to be around anybody or nothing.
Yep.
Excuse me. And then some time had went by, and I was so heartbroken. I didn't want to get another animal. But my wife, Michelle, that I have now, she says, there's a new shelter that opened up. We need to go check it out. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just looking. And she knows how much I love animals.
Your wife is very smart, by the way.
So we get in there, and we're looking around the room, and all these cute kittens and everything. And there's this tortie. Now she's about 5 or 6 years old. And I was like, oh my God, she's so gorgeous. And they have a little meet and greet room, so you can go in and interact. Went in there, and immediately when they let her into the room, she jumped into my lap, and she just started doing this all over my face and everything. And they're like, well, do you want to look at any more? I'm like, no. I was like, looked at my wife and going, damn you, woman. So took her home.
Yes.
Now they had a special going on that day that you could adopt and everything. They had all their shots and they're $25. And I mean, what can you say? That's the deal of a lifetime, right?
Yeah, it is.
But
But
you've got so many of these.
two.
What's that?
They've gotten 2 cats for that price.
Oh, that's not where it ends.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say, you've got shelters like that. I mean, you've got animals that have been abandoned or whatever the case may be. If you can go adopt one of these animals, dog, cat, whatever, it can mean a difference in your life besides their lives. They're looking for love just like you are, and
Yeah.
she knows exactly when I don't feel good, when
Mhm.
whenever my sugar jumps and I'm about to have a diabetic attack. She knows when I'm feeling depressed and down, and she jumps in my lap and lays on me, and she's always there.
Yeah.
Now, second part of this story, I was I went to I guess my wife was getting her nails done or something, and I'm not going to sit in there with all these women getting their nails done. So I'm going next door and I'm going to look around the pet store.
Oh no.
So I'm in there. There's a white cat in the window with one blue eye, one green eye. Same deal from the same shelter, $25. I got it. And the reason why is my wife had always dreamed of having, I mean, literally would dream she had a white cat with the blue eye and a green eye. And I was like, I did something.
Oh my God. So is that your wife's cat?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the
Oh.
white one's hers.
And does it end there, Kyle?
Well, I hope my landlord's not watching, but
Yeah,
so
you're able to have a few cats, just so you know. So it doesn't matter.
well,
Yeah,
we
well,
ended up with two more
I'm a
kittens.
foster fell. I fostered a couple kitties and I was going to put them online. And so all of a sudden they're still here. And that's been 5 months ago. But I got this one kitty, like a tortoise color. Also, I went to the shelter, same thing, $25. I went in and her name was Biddy and she's overweight. They were going to put her down because she's overweight.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've never had a Chonka cat. That's what they call them. And so I went in, she just walked up to me and I had actually lost 2 cats within a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when Dan was in the hospital from 2 separate things. So it was just like, okay, I need to go to the shelter because I believe in you have to go to the shelter because there's so many animals and they're overflowing. So I ended up getting Biddy and now that and my landlord, I don't give a crap if you're listening.
Well, they do make a difference in your life, and especially for those that are have depression, anxiety.
Yes.
It's proven time and time again. You work with an animal, and it changes your outlook.
Oh, I believe it.
Oh yeah.
Animals are great. People can suck. I just
That's the thing. Animals are going to stay loyal to you.
they are. You got to feed them and change your cat box and give them love when they want it, and that.
Yeah.
But I have 2 dogs though too, and I got Rosie from Tijuana. She's 10 years old, and nobody wanted her because she had a skin condition. So of course I had to get Rosie, and she's a great dog. I end up adopting the older dogs or dogs that have a problem after I lost. So you know animals, dogs, and cats. And landlord, if you're listening, I still don't care.
Well, I I just feel like there's they have been abandoned and they're there. You go out and you find the one that fits you, and not only are you taking care of a space in your life, but you're taking care of something that they need in their lives, and they just want to be loved. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, most cats, some of them don't.
Wait, I have a story for you. Okay, so I live in a place where there's a garage, and there were three cats there. So we did a trap and release, and you know what that is, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, so these cats, because there was kittens being born everywhere, so it took us. We were on a hunt for like 5 days to get these cats, and now they're downstairs and they get fed every day. In fact, I have on TikTok. His name is Friendly Fred, and from what I heard, he works the neighborhood, so he follows me down with my dogs when I walk him, and the whole neighborhood goes, "Oh, we fed him last night." I go, "Wait, but we've been feeding them for 2 days." So, everybody's feeding this cat, and he's working us, and he's amazing. And so what he does is he brings me back into the garage to feed these two black cats. And one is called Shy Girl, and the other one's called Hissy Kitty. Now we're feeding the cats, but they can't have kittens. But he takes care of these two girls. He takes care of them. And I always wonder, oh, I'd love to bring them up, but they love being outside. They love it. They don't want to be in a shelter.
No.
But we can pet them. We can now pet them. It took us about a year to be able to pet them. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but if they were in a shelter, I doubt if they would get adopted. So, the shelters are overflowing.
Yeah, they are. And that's another thing. If you have an animal, be responsible. Get them spayed, get them neutered. The kittens, we got two kittens now. They're just old enough to where we had to make an appointment so they could go get fixed.
Yeah.
But they're, like you said, they're overflowing, and now we're just destroying this life.
Yeah. It's sad. I'm part of this group called Friends of West Valley. And what they do is they go in. I wish there was more places like this. They go in and they red alert when these kittens need to be fostered, or these dogs are going to be put down. A lot of people can't afford when their dogs are sick, so they surrender their dogs. And the dogs have been with this family. It happens all the time for years and years, 13, 14 years old, and all of a sudden they're in a shelter. So I watch this and I see how these people come together and they get fostered and they save them. Once in a while, there'll be one that's really sick, and then, you can't, but, and I know it's hard for a lot of people that can't afford the vet bills too. So I'm kind of like, vets, come on, we need some help too. I also helped at a dog pantry with Godiva from G.L.O.W, and she works at the OC shelter. And I think it was every month, we would hand out food to people that couldn't afford to feed their animals, so they wouldn't surrender their animals. And you would hear some really heartbreaking stories, but they were there in line waiting for hours to get food to feed their animals. Wow. And I kind of, that's what you need, is to people, to help, because it's just, if you look at the big scope of things, it gets kind of depressing, doesn't it? Yeah. Like, we just have to chip away at it little by little. Every little bit helps.
Well, it's all about being responsible. If you can't take care of an animal, don't go get one.
Right.
They need to go to the doctor, just like we need to go to the doctor. We need to kind of bring down the population, because it's getting out of hand. Mm-hmm. Just, there's so many things to consider when it comes to animals. Most of all, be kind to them. I'm not no big hippie tree hugger or anything, but I'm very passionate about animals.
No, you're a cat hugger.
I am a cat hugger, that's for sure. They all love me too.
Proud of it.
I'm like the pet bed. As soon as I get in my chair and I lean back, all I got to do is put the little covers in my lap, and all of them come and jump in my lap.
Oh, yeah. I think I got you. Wait, how many animals do you have?
I have 4 kittens. Or not kittens. I mean, excuse me, 4 cats. Two of them are kittens. I have 3 fish, and my daughter has a spider.
Is that an animal?
According to her, I guess that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, it's happy with that. Yeah. I mean, I had an acre where we had pigs, we had chinchillas and rabbits and mastiffs and a Saint Bernard, and and that was the house that I actually got walked out of when we lost the house, and I only had one dog, mastiff, that I had to put her from house to house. It was really sad, and uh, that's just it too. It's like, what do you do with a big dog when you're not in an apartment? It's really hard to go from that to that. So I understand how people can run into things.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And I
definitely.
get that, you know. And if you surrender your dog to a shelter, I'd rather have that than people that just let their dogs go and walk
That's
around,
true.
because they
Yeah.
have a better chance of being seen by a vet and getting out here. There's a lot of rescues out here in California, a lot.
I guess I should have been more thorough with what I said. That there comes a time when you run into some situation. I
Hmm.
mean, you never know. Things change. If you can't find it another home, get it to
Yeah.
a shelter. Just like I said,
Yeah.
don't let them run loose.
Yeah. And they, I grabbed a few off the street and didn't take him to the shelter. One named Tucker. In fact, he's on my TikTok, and we called him Mother Tucker. And he ended up going like viral. He had dementia at the end, and I would put a bone in his mouth and he'd walk around the whole house in circles. I would get crap from people like, just put him down and do this and that. And then I end up putting I couldn't put him down. It's kind of like, I know when it's time to put a dog down. I
Mhm.
know it. Like, nobody has to tell me, and I don't want anybody to tell me when to do it. So I was going to take him in to see if I can get him on medicine. And finally he had a seizure, and I'm like, okay, that's the time. But I put him out there, and I put a little sweater on him, and I thought he was living a really good life and being very spoiled. And I did like little physical therapy with his little stiff legs and everything. And if you look at my TikTok, you can go back and see, and all of a sudden you got like 44,000 views on where
Wow.
he stuck underneath a bowl. And then people were giving me crap because they thought I was like, I just end up having my phone. I don't know why. I had my phone. I'm like, oh, Tucker, you're by the bowl. And it just kind of shocked me. So it wasn't like anything that was planned. And I just called it Stuck Tuck.
You know, this is the thing with people, no matter what you do, somebody's
I
gonna
know.
gripe.
I know. Yeah, people are like, oh, she's doing good. Oh, she's horrible. Oh, I'm like, God, you guys shut up.
Yeah.
So I just do the best I can do. And I took the dog to the vet when I first got him. Cost a lot of money, but you know what? When I take an animal in, I take him in all the way. I see him all the way through. So
Well,
I think you're the same way.
as long as you're not being cruel to an animal, why are these people worried about it?
You know what? The thing is though too, with Tucker, he had alopecia.
Hmm.
And I think somebody just let him go. And because he would pee in the house, and I just put wraps on him and just did, but he was such a great dog. And they're like, don't you feed him? And then I guess I was petting him too hard. They were like, any little thing I did, they were like, you're too rough on him. Why you don't feed him? You feed him to, it's like, oh my gosh. But one thing I did learn too, though, and that could be with anything on TikTok. You put yourself out there, just expect something back. Not to focus on the negative, and just look at the positive. And I did whatever I could do, but because I had a lot of good positive reactions to Tucker. So if you look under Stuck Tuck, and you Google it, you will see that was my dog. That was my dog. And I didn't make any money off it, but you know what? I remember that's how I have him. And I put my dogs out there so I can have, it's like like a photo album. I like putting my animals there so I can go back and look at them. Not to make money off them. I don't have it in me to do that. How people do. I just don't. I can't.
Oh, I hear you. And you're right. When you get on social media and you put your life out there, you're open to criticism. That's for sure. And
Hmm.
what kills me is the folks that'll get on there and then they tell you all this stuff about their life. And when somebody makes a comment, they say, well, you need to mind your own business. Well, why'd you put it out there?
Yeah. I You know what? Anything I put out there, like even today, I'm like, do I want to curl my hair? Do I not want to curl my hair? I go, nope, I don't want to. I'm like, this is me. This is me today. This is how I'm feeling. I'm just going to talk to Kyle. This is how I want to be. I don't want to put anything on. This is it. And you know what? You're feeling exactly how I am.
To be honest with you, when it comes to social media, and I know it's a big part of like people that are doing podcasts, you want to get your show out there.
Yeah.
I'm not a social media person. And I'll get on and I'll post my videos and then I'm pretty much done. Unless something pops up in my feed, then I'm like, oh, that's really cute, or somebody's at a
Yeah.
ball game with their kids, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, or what
Yeah.
have you. But other than that, I don't pay much attention to it. I'm not a Twitter person. I mean, I have a Twitter account, but other than my videos, I don't put nothing up.
And you know what? Because you don't do that, you'll probably be the one that fame will come knocking at your door. And if it comes knocking at your door, grab it and then save all those animals. I
That's
kept saying with the lotto, I'm like, let me just win the lotto so I can open up all these rescues and hire all these people. I don't care about anything else, but let me, yeah. So I didn't win, but yeah, I had big dreams. Like whatever happens in the future, and I get a lot of money, I'm opening up a rescue. I'm gonna do something for animals. It's not gonna be a Louis Vuitton purse. It's not gonna be. I don't care about materialistic things. So it's that. So
yeah.
if anything, what I've gone through has not that I really cared about it before. So maybe that's what helped me, but it's led me to a better understanding. So there's more
Well,
to life. There's more to life.
it's funny because a lot of people that get rich, they don't go out and get all that Louis Vuitton and all that stuff. They don't want to look like they're rich, if that makes sense. It's like they're putting a
Come
target on
out to
your.
California and then
Oh,
you'll
I'm talking about the sane part of the world. I'm talking about California.
oh God. It's crazy out here. It's like honestly, I see somebody driving a Rolls Royce and I'm like, why? Why? What what's the purpose? You know,
I want a Toyota truck. That's it.
I like my Honda Civic. I'm good with that. Very
And that car will last. That's the
yeah,
thing.
that's why I got it's got good gas mileage. So
Exactly.
yeah. I've had all those, the good cars, the flashy cars. The more flashy you got, the more people you got looking at you, which out here is not really a good thing. So, you
Yeah.
know,
No, that's when you dress like that and you show off like that, you're just putting a target on your back. And then most people that are, I mean, they want to hold on to their money. They don't go
mhm.
out and get extravagant like that. It's the ones that want to show off are the only ones that you see do all that mess. I just
Well,
see the point in it.
back in the day, when I had my clothing line, I sold to the Kardashians. I
Really.
sold to their store. It was called Smooch. It was for my line. I said was Tickles and Giggles. And I sold to Beverly Hills. I was in Jamie Spears. I overnighted stuff over to her when she had her baby. So I dealt with people with a lot of money too. And their little store was great. So they had this little baby store called Smooch, and then they had their store that was really popular. And when they got popular, it's like they had to shut everything down because people were just like hanging out there just to get a glimpse of them. And now you see them now, and I look at them like, I don't know if I'd want that. I don't think I'd want that.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't want it.
No, it'd be nice. I guess people think that it'd be nice to be famous and all that stuff, but when you have people hounding you all the time just because you're famous, no, I wouldn't want that.
I guess I'm a little famous, just a tinge. But if I can use that little bit of fame to do something good, to me, that's worth it.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's
not like you, but I mean, like say like the people you see in the reality shows.
mhm.
Like my wife's cousin is on that show Swamp People. Okay, he's Troy
Yeah,
Landry, if you know
yeah,
Troy Landry. So
yeah.
I met him at a family wedding, and he doesn't dress all fancy and everything. He
Yeah.
just, jeans, the same pair of Wranglers like I wear, uh, one of those polos that you'd probably get in Sears or something.
I
And
agree, yeah.
the only thing fancy on him was his alligator skin boots. And he has just enough fame where, there's people that know him, but they don't hound him all the time.
Yeah.
And that's if I ever got like that, I'd be satisfied. A few
Yeah,
people
I'd
recognize me.
be okay. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Like
Yeah.
we're looking to get the Glow Girls out there for reality. We're in talks, and but my thing is I wouldn't want it to I don't want to like sell out. I want it to be true to what it is. That's very important to me. We had a deal with Shatner Universe, and that was William Shatner's production company. And the deal just wouldn't have been good for the girls, wouldn't have been good for anybody. And I walked away from it.
Yeah.
And I have no problem walking away from anything that just does not feel right.
I don't blame you. I don't
Yeah.
blame you at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've worked too hard on this. And you know what? At least I can say, no matter what happens with this, I've had a good time. I've done podcasts, and met people and got to meet you. So
Oh,
talk about animals. I love that. You talk about animals. We can talk for 2 hours.
I know that's right. Also, before we finish this up, you do fashion design. You did stuff for kids, right?
Yeah, I had a clothing line called Designs by Tracee. And first I started off with motorcycle jackets and I called it Lil Leathers. And they were like little Harley Davidson jackets for like 3 to 6 months old to I think going up to 2 years. But I figured it was too expensive to get it made here. So I went to and did Designs by Tracee. And then I wanted to stay home and raise my kids. So I stayed at home and did a line called Tickles and Giggles. And so I had that for about 16 years. And that's the one I sold. And Kris Jenner, very sweet lady, by the way, and sold to a lot of famous people. It was on Friends. One of the outfits was on Oprah Winfrey. And I'm like, okay, but you know what? I think my favorite stories are when people would take pictures of their kids in their clothes and, at their parties. To me, I like that. In fact, I bought 2 outfits on eBay, and this is 18 years ago, and I have them in my drawer now. That was part of Tickles and Giggles. Now, the funny story about Tickles and Giggles, I didn't keep the name. It is now, what do you call those pop places? What do they call those places?
Oh, like the head shops?
Yeah, there's a Tickles and Giggles in San Francisco.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not baby clothes. It's not me. So, no, but, and somebody even offered to, hey, you want to get back into it? And I'm like, no way. No, I had my run. I had my run with it. So it's out of my system, but I still do hair. I love doing hair, except for when the hands hurt, right?
Yeah, I know that's right.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Well, fashion design, hairdressing, wrestling, producing, you just do it all.
If I don't, I could easily crawl back under the covers and go
No.
and rewatch Tiger King again.
Oh my. I have not seen that.
Don't. Oh my God, I got so obsessed during the pandemic. I felt like after watching it, I felt like I was watching porn for a week.
Uh,
It was so bad. It was so bad.
I went
Ugh.
I went through all the seasons of The Office about 14 times.
Oh, cool. Oh, you
So
were smart. I went to dark places on Netflix.
I watched that, and what I'd do is I'd watch the whole season of The Office, and then I'd watch Parks and Rec, and then I'd watch The Office, and then Parks and Rec. And
Did you see Glow on Netflix?
I don't remember seeing Glow on Netflix.
Yeah, you have to see that. They did 3 seasons, and that was made about what we did in the 80s.
Wow.
Loosely based, whatever that means.
Yeah, they've taken certain liberties. That's what it means.
Yeah, loosely based. I like that.
That and paranormal stuff and history, anything having to do with history, documentaries. That was my that
Me
was,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. There were some really good documentaries. I'm always looking out for a new documentary, though.
Um, I'll tell you what, I've got plenty of them for you to watch. I don't know if you like Frank Zappa, but there's a couple of really good ones on Amazon.
Did you watch Leonard Skinner?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that was intense. That was wow. That was good.
When they walked through that area where the plane
Yeah.
crashed, I mean, I could almost feel it.
And just the way they played the music through it was so well done. Did you watch the Glow documentary?
Is it on Amazon?
No, watch it on tubi.com. It's free, and you
Okay.
can watch that. And that will show you, about us, what we went through. I'm in there for a quick moment, very quick, but it tells a story of Glow and with Mondo Guerrero from the Guerreros from WWE. But everybody says that was a really good documentary when it comes to wrestling. And other than that, I'm always looking for rock and roll documentaries.
Well, I'll tell you what, Amazon has got them, that's for sure.
Okay, I
We
got Amazon.
watched, we just watched the one about David Bowie the other day.
Ooh, I got to see that one.
That was a newer one. Um, let's see. Oh my gosh, there's so many of them on there. The one about the police was real good. The one about Harry Chapin was pretty good. Gosh, it'd take
Yeah,
me all day.
under documentaries and go see.
Yes, and they have a lot of good recommendations on that. And I watched the ones on like the old West guys, that kind of stuff. I
Yeah,
love westerns.
the old spaghetti westerns.
Yes, those are the best.
The good old days. That's when you know you're getting old.
Terrence Hill is probably my favorite of the spaghetti westerns, although Clint Eastwood, his westerns will always be the top on my list.
Yeah, but I'm also a John Wayne fan.
Oh, they've got some good John Wayne ones on there too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like actually going back and watching the old movies just when it was just acting and not CGI'd and overdone. It was overacted, but not overdone. It was great. So it's hard to find stuff like that. You go to Turner Classics and you can watch it. I think it's on there.
I think don't they have classic movies on HBO as one of the hubs.
I don't know. I don't know if I have HBO.
I think
The
it's
only
on
bad
some.
about watching older movies is it's kind of depressing because then I know that they're all gone. It's like this was an era and everybody looks young. What is that one? It comes out during Christmas, and
Christmas Story.
Jimmy Stewart's in it.
Oh,
Wonderful.
A Wonderful Life.
And I watch that every year, and it's beautiful, but it's also sad too.
Yeah.
When you see that. So
I go back and watch those movies that I couldn't wait for to come out in theaters when I was a kid, and now they're on the classic movie channel.
what does that mean?
I say, you know, you're getting old when you walk through the grocery store and you can hear the music you listened to in high school on the overhead.
We won't go there. I already shout outed my age, so brutal one for me. That is brutal.
It is what it is, you know. It's time for the next generation to come up.
All right, we'll let them.
Much as I hate to admit it.
Move aside, but just take care of our animals. That's all I got to say.
Roxy, do you have anything that you'd like to promote before we end the show?
Well, I think we promoted the cruise, the Afterglow cruise, and I'm on Facebook, Roxy Astor, and I still have some room for some friends, and I'm on Instagram, roxy.astor, and I share a lot of animals on there. So if you see me, you'll always see like there are dogs that are like kind of at the end that need to be adopted. So you'll see me slamming Instagram, you know, and so I always have animal stuff going on. My TikTok, and I want to follow your, is it your grandson? Follow your grandson. It's, I think it's Roxy Life Afterglow. And you could see me on there and you'll see all my animals. Everything we've talked about, you'll see all of them there. And it's just, and the cats downstairs. So that's what I really want to, that's what I want to advertise is my animals.
Do you have a website?
You know what, I don't. I'm just all my stuff that I'm doing, because what I did for the for the cruise was I wanted to make it I didn't want to overbook it to where I couldn't be with the group. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like if we sold 100 cabins, I didn't care about that. I want it to be like it's a reunion, like we're coming back to where we have a lot of our people that are coming back to the cruises, because I put on a hell of a cruise. So I know how to put the shows on. And they know that. So we've already booked, I think we booked like just started 25, 30 people already, and there'll be more people coming. And I'm okay with even that. And because when I go on these cruises, I like party with them from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed. We're dancing until 3 a.m. Then we're up, and then they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and it's just going to be something we all need. So you'll actually see it on my Facebook, or you'll see it on my Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So it's nothing I really need to. The other cruises, I did the website, but coming out of the pandemic, I really don't feel like I need to go, hey, let's make a bunch of money and I just don't feel the need to do that.
Well, I'll jump on that cruise with you, and then you jump on the Kiss cruise with me.
Oh, absolutely. The California girl, she posed in the Kiss I forgot what year it was. The Playboy.
Oh,
when they Playboy.
I've got it up on my wall.
Yeah. Have you interviewed Sunny?
I have not interviewed Sunny, no.
Yeah, she's in that one.
Wow, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody at work knew how much I love Kiss, and my whole office is Kiss from wall to wall to wall. And I'm always looking for stuff to add. And one of the guys at work found that Playboy in the recycling bin and gave it to me. And so I took the pictures out and I put it in a frame and put it on the wall. And somehow, not too long after that, somebody else gave me the same issue. So now I have the pictures all intact in that book, so I haven't taken those out.
Now give you Sunny, who can actually tell you about the whole how she got the girls together for that.
That would be a blast. You got to hook us up.
I'll hook you up.
Oh, wow. This is getting better and better. See how you made me feel so much better.
See? So you brought the Kiss cruise, so that's why I thought, you'll probably like interviewing her. She was one of the girls in the makeup, where they played each character. I think she had dark. Yeah, that's Sunny. She was in G.L.O.W.
Wow. Now I know.
So I'll let her know. Send me all your information. I'll send it her way, and I'll tell her to do your radio show.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm. And that way you can have fun talking about Kiss. Make it a Kiss episode.
I can do that. That
Do
is
that.
no problem.
Okay. Yes, do
I
that.
wouldn't say that I like to Kiss, but you know.
Wow. You'll have fun with her then, because she's got some good stories about it. And I think she still talks to Gene Simmons, so you'll get some really good stories. Her and I were supposed to go to their concert, but then one of them got COVID out here and it was canceled, and we were going to go backstage. So she's got great stories.
Wow. I did get to meet him once, and that was up near Dallas. And I actually got rear-ended in my old truck, and I got the check to go get my truck fixed, and instead of getting the truck fixed,
Needed them.
I went and got the backstage passes and everything, and so I got to go meet him. It's like it's once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're gonna love to interview her then. And you got to put your Kiss stuff in the back.
I can do that. That
Yeah,
wouldn't be too hard.
Okay. And the fact that you have that issue, she has them too, and she sells them. So that'll be good. Just and that you actually have it. So put that up there when you interview her. That'll be great.
Well, I might get banned from YouTube, but that's okay.
It's all good. Yeah, you're gonna do it classy. You'll do it classy.
I'll do it classy. I can blur it out.
Yeah. Good. Well, I'm glad we talked about it. So yeah, I'll hook that up for you.
I appreciate that. Really do. I appreciate your time today. This was awesome.
Hopefully you feel better.
I'll get there. Just a matter of time. I've been through worse.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna go do? I'm gonna go watch the Bowie documentary.
You're gonna go down that rabbit hole, and you're gonna be watching Amazon Prime all night.
Okay, and I'm gonna be swearing at you all night long.
You will be swearing at me. But once again, thank you. I want to thank everyone out there. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by, but please subscribe, and I hope you'll come back. For those of you who are regular to the channel, your support means everything to me. It's because of you I get to do this. I get to talk to wonderful people like Roxy. And until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless, and peace.